Hey everybody, this is Perch, and so the news, and definitely this is a spoiler territory, but Marvel went ahead and spoiled it. Why do they do this? Like I've done videos before on this topic, and the way Marvel spoils their events and their comics months before they come out, it relies on a very kind of old fashioned industry way of thinking, which is basically we're going to get the news out there, it's going to bring the collectors, speculators in, but it's admitting something without saying it. It's admitting is basically that the readership is not there, and the people who naturally are just going to check out the titles aren't going to come to the book. So therefore, they have to spoil the book in the news to get speculators to come in and buy the book to kind of drum up interest that way. But it just defies all logic. It's short-term thinking. It never works out, and it tends to sabotage the titles over time. It doesn't build interest. The thinking is that, hey, this is going to bring a bunch of people into the book, and then when they're there, we're going to impress them so much with our amazing story and what's going on that they'll stick around, but they never do. I mean, I've charted the numbers enough. It never works out that way. The only one you could argue was even mildly a success was the transfer of Jane Foster as Thor, but that's not the best example because the Jane Foster Thor wasn't spoiled in the same way, and the big hook for that title was the mystery of who was Thor. They didn't tell you it was Jane Foster. They said there was a new Thor, and they also they basically sold the announcement of this is the kickoff of a mystery. You want to be around to figure out and see where the mystery goes. And so people did, and they stuck around. Jane Foster Thor sold better than previous Thor. Again, I've done the analysis of the numbers. You can look at it. The numbers go up. But it went up because it was providing a surprise to the readers. In fact, once Marvel tipped their hand that it was Jane Foster, and they actually started to make a big deal about that, the sales numbers went down. The mystery being over, people, were less interested. So what does that tell us? It tells us that comic readers like a mystery. They like the surprise. They like the suspense. They like to see what's going to happen. They don't like it to just be handed to them. And so it's baffling that they do this. But anyway, I've stalled around enough. So this is around Doctor Strange. So we're still got a couple issues of the death of Doctor Strange here to come. And my speculation was Doctor Strange won't actually die, that this will be kind of a bait and switch. But I was wrong. Wrong about part of it anyway. I still believe that when the Benedict Cumberbatch Doctor Strange movie comes out, they will magically find a way to get the Doctor Strange that looks like Benedict Cumberbatch back in the book again, i.e. the one with the penis. But it is weird that, I mean, in many ways, it feels again like Marvel from 2014 or so, where they're still playing passive-aggressive games against companies where they don't own full control. Spider-Man is about to come out in the theaters. Huge excitement and attention around that film. People are anxious to go see it. They want to know what's going to happen. It's definitely got a lot of buzz to it. Okay? What's in that movie? Doctor Strange. Okay? With no Tony Stark in to kind of tie the Spider-Man film into things, Doctor Strange becomes the hook. So with Doctor Strange coming into it, what are we going to do with Marvel? We're going to kill him. So Marvel has announced this March, make the way for the new Sorcerer Supreme. With Doctor Strange dead, another sorcerer has taken the title, or should we say sorceress. Clea, Mistress of the Dark Dimension and Stephen Strange, powerful partner, will rise to the challenge of defending Earth from mystical and otherworldly danger in writer Jed MacKay's Strange #1. Featuring artwork by Amazing Spider-Man artist Marcelo Ferreira, this new ongoing series, it will be a limited series, will spin directly out of the story still unfolding in MacKay's death of Doctor Strange. So when you're writing this as Marvel, when you're writing the press release, and you find yourself typing the words will spin directly out of the story still unfolding in MacKay's death of Doctor Strange, you do understand, Marvel, that you're basically screwing both the retailers who are trying to get this series out the door and Jed MacKay and everybody involved in this, because you're basically giving away the reveal. It's imagine if you went to a magic show in Vegas, and before the trick came out, like Penn and Teller come out and they're like, hey, We're about to do this amazing trick. And at the end of it, we're going to guess your card. Now, let's show you the trick. I mean, who cares? Who would want that? It's just it's a dumb thing to do. That's not the best example because I'm sure a lot of people actually would want that. But anyway, so here's the baffling part of this. Clea is an interesting character, has been in the Marvel Universe for a very long time, has very cool things. In the series, by the way, it's kind of buried on the third paragraph. It lists this. After the apocalyptic events of the death of Doctor Strange, there's a new Sorcerer Supreme in Residence 177A Bleecker Street, and a new Doctor Strange, Clea Strange. And she's got her work cut out for her when she's not fighting off the magical gangsters of the Blasphemy Syndicate or battling undead super monsters. She's going after what's hers, the late Stephen Strange. Clea is of the Faltine, the race of warlords and conquerors, and like her relatives, Dormammu and Umar, she will not be thwarted in her desires, and not even by the mysterious Harvest Man standing in her way. Okay, so basically, if I'm reading between the lines here, she's trying to resurrect or find a way to bring Stephen Strange back to life. She's going after what's hers, the late Stephen Strange. That's an interesting story, right? I mean, again, if you're a fan of all this, there's an interesting bit here. Clea has a lot of history, is an interesting character, lots you can do with her, somebody who's been terribly underserved in Marvel. They haven't done a great job of actually having that character be promoted or show up anywhere or anything else. So an interesting character with an interesting story that can be told. And, I think a decent amount of comic readers who have been around for a long time will go, oh, you're going to do something with Clea that's actually pretty substantive and interesting and give her a story? Yeah, okay, we're in for that. Let's see where this goes. I think that would be the reaction of lots of people. But weirdly, Marvel's like, hey, let's dress her up in the same outfit as Doctor Strange. Let's call her Doctor Strange. Let's say, hey, there's a new sorceress in town. All these things, who does this appeal to? I want to pitch it out to you this way. Let's say this story, and I would imagine this is Jed McKay's pitch when he was pitching Marvel, like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have Doctor Strange defeated and ultimately killed by some mysterious, super terrible force. But it's magic, and magic can involve bringing people back to life. I mean, hell, the X-Men can do it with plants, so we can do it with magic. And how interesting would it be if we gave this opportunity to give Clea a quest on how to bring Doctor Strange back to life? That's an interesting story. As a pitch, I think most people would go for that. However, as a story concept, when you roll it out of, we're killing him, and here's the new one, and it's Clea. Clea is getting her chance to be Doctor Strange. Let's give her the exact same costume. Let's give her the cape and the sash and everything else, and let's say she's the new one now. And then probably somewhere in our solicitation, she's even better than magic than the old one, and all the rest. All those things take away from what's a pretty good pitch, a pretty good story, an interesting way to go about it. Now, by the way, you may say, oh, here's another guy criticizing a woman taking power. Quite the opposite. I would like to see Clea actually have this moment to herself when you're giving her the name of Doctor Strange, the costume of Doctor Strange, the look of Doctor Strange, and in the solicitation text, we're basically saying she's the new one. Her whole identity is based off of the male Doctor Strange, which is ridiculous given her history. She has a whole history of herself. She doesn't need any of this. She doesn't need this propping her up by giving her someone else's. It makes her less, not more. My argument here is I'm up for a Clea story. I suspect this story will probably be pretty interesting. I suspect that a lot of you listening to this right now who may be going, I don't want this. I'll bet if you read the comic, it'll probably be pretty good. Jed McKay, as it turns out, is a pretty good writer. He can put some good things in place. He's doing some unique work. His Black Cat was good. He's pretty decent at what he does. I'll bet you anything this story is pretty decent. The packaging, the spoiling of an event that's currently going, where it's not even over yet, those elements, to me, erode this story, chips away at it, hurts it. The story is more powerful if it wasn't doing all this nonsense. That's my argument. I would like to see these events actually honor the characters that are coming into it, in this case, Clea, rather than try and make it a knockoff legacy character where all it does is hurt. How about you give us a reason why we should care about Clea? Here's the thing, I'll bet Jed McKay is going to do that in his story. So why is it that the publisher can't rise to the occasion as well? That's my point of view here. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Are you up for this? Are you going to read this title? Are you like me and you look at this and go, this is probably going to be a cool concept, but you're screwing yourselves in how you're rolling this out? That's my frustration. Anyway, let me know if you agree, disagree in the comments below, and thanks for listening.